We're floating off of probably one of the greatest dive locations along the California coast. This is Point Lobos, and specifically we're at Bluefish Cove, one of my favorite dive spots. I'm here this morning with noted photographer Chuck Davis. He's done an incredible amount of work in the marine environment. He's done a lot of movies, he has a book. He's an accomplished still photographer. Welcome, Chuck. How are you doing this morning?
Doing great, thanks, Kit. Really nice to be here.
Good.
This is really one of my very favorite places in the world to dive and take pictures, so
Mine
great
too.
to be here.
Mine too. Chuck, I'd just like to find out a little bit more about your background. Can you tell us about some of the projects you've worked on?
Yeah, I work both as a still photographer and a cinematographer, and my main assignment work is shooting movies, television commercials, IMAX films, television, episodic television, some feature work, and a lot of television documentaries, many of them to do with ocean conservation, which is really one of my favorite subjects to work on. And I do a lot of still work between other assignments. I do a lot of still work in black and white, and I love to work in these marine reserve areas that we're going to hear over off Bluefish Cove. It's one of my favorite reefs.
Chuck, I know you have a lot of experience diving along the California coast, and I know you've seen changes over the years. Tell me about some of the changes you've seen as a photographer.
The most dramatic change I've seen is a reduction in fish. And the big things, I call it the macro species, the bigger, more identifiable things like sheep's head and rockfish, there's fewer of them. I've noticed in some parts of Monterey Bay where I live, some of those reefs I dived, back in the 70s, that are lesser forms of themselves now. They're more open spaces in the kelp forest. You don't see those clouds of juvenile fish like you used to, or rockfish. They're there. I'm not saying there's no fish, but it's just a lesser form of itself. It's kind of sad.
Why do you enjoy shooting in reserves?
Well, marine reserves are an enhanced environment. You've essentially removed all of the human extractive activities, and you get more fish, more invertebrates, healthier kelp forests. And as a wildlife photographer, I get my best pictures in those areas. It's as simple as that. Here in Point Lobos is truly my favorite place in the world to dive. This has benefited from many decades of protection, and we have hundreds of underwater acres under here that are in reserve status. So you're going to see more invertebrates, you're going to see healthier kelp forest systems, more fish, and as a wildlife photographer, that's a much better place for me to be photographing.
So, what do you say we get suited up, go for a dive? I'd love to see what you do underwater.
All right, let's do it.
All right, great.
For more information about photographic opportunities along the Central California coast or in marine protected areas, please visit our website.